It's the qualification session is at Goodwood Circuit in Chichester, Great Britain. The wind speed is 6 km/h from the north-northeast. Its Duke, Lan, in Madrick is second. Its mark from United Kingdom in St. Mary's is first. Its Duke, Lan, in Lavant Strait is P4. Its mark is P7. Its mark is up 9.55 in St. Mary's. Its mark is up 11.52 in Lavant Strait. Its Andy is second. Its Andy Improved is third with a 124.128. 1.845 off pole. Its Darren Banks is provisional pole with a 123.288. Its Zondarmadman from Italy is third. Its mark in St. Mary's is P1 up 0.11. Its pole field is provisional pole with a 122.268. Its mark is up 0.16 in Woodcote. Its Duke, Lan, is P6 up 1.24. Its mark is second. Its mark is provisional pole with a 121.988. Its Duke, Lan, in Woodcote is 6th up 1.96. Its Perry Shaw from England in Woodcote is 6th up 0.47. It's 10 minutes remaining in the session. Its mark is first up 0.26. Its mark is provisional pole with a 121.554. Its Darren Banks from United Kingdom in Woodcut is P3 up 0.32. Its Andy is P5. Its Andy improved is P4 with a 123.461. 1.907 off pole. Its Perry Shaw in Woodcut is P6 up 0.91. Its Perry Shaw improved is P6 with a 124.058. 2.504 off pole. Its Darren Banks from United Kingdom in St. Mary's is third up 0.21. Its Darren Banks is up 0.22 in Woodcut. Its Darren Banks improved is third with a 122.351. 0.797 off pole. Its Zondarmadman in Chicane is P4. Its Zondarmadman improved is P4 with a 122.764. 1.210 off pole. Its Andy in St. Mary's is fifth up 0.42. Its Andy is up 0.37 in Woodcut. Its Andy improved is fifth with a 122.877. 1.323 off pole. Its Paul Field from United Kingdom is P2. Its Paul Field improved is P2 with a 121.565. 0.011 off pole. Its Zondarmadman in Matchwick is P4. Its Perry Shaw is 6th. Best lap is a 124.058. 2.504 off pole. Its Andy in Lavant Straight is 5th up 0.17. Its mark is provisional pole with a 121.553. Its mark in Matchwick is P1. It's 5 minutes remaining in the session. Its mark is up 0.35 in St.Mary's. Its pole field is provisional pole with a 121.267. Its pole field in Lavant is P1. Best lap is a 121.267. Its mark in Matchwick is second. Best lap is a 121.553. 0.286 off pole. Its Duke, LAN, in Woodcut is P7. Its pole field is P1. Its Duke, LAN, in St.Mary's is P7 up 0.47. Its pole field in Lavant is P1 up 0.18. Its Duke, LAN, in Lavant is P7 up 1.23. Its Duke, LAN, improved is P7 with a 126.036. 4.769 off pole. Its mark is P2 up 0.10. Its Darren Banks is P3. Best lap is a 122.194. 0.927 off pole. Its Zondarmadman in Woodcut is P4. Its pole field in Matchwick is P1. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Its Zondarmadman is fourth up 0.10. Its pole field in Lavant is first up 0.18. Its pole field is provisional pole with a 120.947. Its Zondarmatman is P4. The race session is at Goodwood Circuit in Chichester, Great Britain. The wind speed is 3 km/h from the north-northeast. Darren Banks is first. Its pole field from United Kingdom is P2. Its mark from United Kingdom is P3. Its Andy is P4. Its Zondarmatman from Italy is P5. Its Perry Shaw from England is P6. Its Duke, now, is 7. Its 6th Gunjani from United States is 8th. Its 6th Gunjani entering the pits is P21. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Its race start. Darren Banks is P1. Its Zondarmatman in Matchwick is P4. Its Perry Shaw in Ford Water is P6. Its Darren Banks from United Kingdom St. Mary's is P4. Its pole field in Lavant Strait is second. Its Zondarmatman in Woodcote is P6. Its pole field is P2, 0.8 behind Mach. Its Darren Banks is 5th, 0.4 behind Perry Shaw. Its Zondervan is 6th, 0.5 behind Darren Banks. Its Darren Banks in Lavant Strait is 5th, 0.1 behind Perry Shaw. Its Zondervan in Chicane is P6. Its Zondervan is now 5th. Its Andy in Fort Water on lap 3 is 3rd, 0.8 behind Paul Field. Andy was 0.9 faster last lap. Its pole field in Lavant Strait is 2nd, 0.8 behind Mach. Its Zondervan is P5, 1.3 behind Darren Banks. Its pole field in St. Mary's is P2, 1.0 behind Mach. It's 20 minutes remaining in the session. Its Darren Banks in Lavant Strait is P4, 1.8 ahead of Zondervan. Its pole field is P2, 1.0 behind Mach. Its Darren Banks in St. Mary's is P4, 2.4 ahead of Zondervan. It's Paul Field from United Kingdom in chicane is second, 1.0 behind Mark. It's Darren Banks is fourth, 2.6 behind Andy. It's Paul Field in St. Mary's is P2, 0.9 behind Mark. It's Andy is third, 2.7 ahead of Darren Banks. It's Paul Field is second, 0.4 behind Mark. It's Perry Shaw in Matchwick is P6. It's Paul Field in Lavant on lap 7 is P2, 0.3 behind Mark. It's Perry Shaw in Lavant is P6. Best lap is a 1:23.995. 2.671 off the fastest lap. It's Paul Field in Matchwick is second, 0.3 behind Mark. It's 15 minutes remaining in the session. It's Duke Lan in Forgewater is seventh. It's Paul Field in Lavant Strait is second, 0.3 behind Mark. It's Darren Banks in chicane is P4, 1.7 behind Andy. It's Duke Lan is P7, 0.1 behind Perry Shaw. It's Darren Banks in Laventis P4, 0.6 behind Andy. It's Duke, Lan, is P7. It's Duke, Lan, entering the pits is 7. It's Darren Banks is 4. It's Andy in St. Mary's is 3rd, 0.5 ahead of Darren Banks. It's Darren Banks is P4, 1.0 behind Andy. It's Darren Banks past Andy for P3. It's Andy in Matchwick is 4th, 1.0 behind Darren Banks. Darren Banks was 1.5 faster last lap. It's Paul Field in Laventis P2, 1.7 behind Mark. It's 10 minutes remaining in the session. It's Andy in Woodcote is 4th, 1.1 behind Darren Banks. It's Paul Field is P2, 2.4 behind Mark. It's Andy in Laventis 4th, 0.8 behind Darren Banks. It's Mark in Matchwick is 1st, 1.7 ahead of Paul Field. It's Andy in Fort Water is P4, 0.6 behind Darren Banks. It's Paul Field in Woodcote is second. It's Andy on lap 13 is fourth, 0.5 behind Darren Banks. It's Mark in St. Mary's is first, 1.7 ahead of Paul Field. It's Andy in Lavant is fourth. Best lap is a 1:22.236. 0.949 off the fastest lap. It's Paul Field is P2, 1.6 behind Mark. It's Andy is fourth, 0.9 behind Darren Banks. It's 5 minutes remaining in the session. It's Paul Field in Chicane is second, 1.1 behind Mark. It's Andy in Matchwick is P4, 0.8 behind Darren Banks. It's Paul Field on lap 16 is second, 0.5 behind Mark. It's Andy in Woodcote is fourth, 9 behind Darren Banks. It's Darren Banks from United Kingdom is third, 0.1 ahead of Andy. It's Paul Field in Lavant is second, 0.5 behind Mark. It's Perry Shaw is sixth. It's Paul Field from United Kingdom in fourth. Water is P2, 1.1 behind Mark. It's Zondarmadman in St. Mary's is fifth, 3.1 behind Andy. It's Paul Field is second, 0.6 behind Mark. It's Andy in Matchwick is P4. Best lap is a 1:22.140. 1.044 off the fastest lap. It's Paul Field in Lavant is second, 0.3 behind Mark. It's the leader has just finished the race. Mark finished P1. It's Paul Field finished second. Perry Shaw finished sixth. It's Darren Banks finished P3. It's Andy finished P4. It's Zondarmadman finished fifth. It's the qualification session is at Goodwood Circuit in Chichester, Great Britain. The wind speed is 6 km/h from the northeast. It's the race session is at Goodwood Circuit in Chichester, Great Britain. The wind speed is 9 km/h from the northeast. Darren Banks is first. It's Paul Field from United Kingdom is P2. It's Zondarmadman from Italy is third. It's Duke Nan is P4. It's Mark from United Kingdom is fifth. It's Perry Shaw from England is sixth. It's Sixth Sgunjani from United States is P7. It's Perry Shaw entering the pits is P21. It's Sixth Sgunjani entering the pits is P21. 25 minutes remaining in the session. It's race start. Darren Banks is P1. The race session is at Goodwood Circuit in Chichester, Great Britain. The wind speed is 9 km/h from the northeast. Darren Banks is first. Paul Field from United Kingdom is second. Zondarmadman from Italy is P3. Duke Lan is fourth. Mark from United Kingdom is P5. Perry Shaw from England is P6. Sixth Gunjani from United States is 7th. Sixth Gunjani entering the pits is 21st. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Paul Field is P2. Zondarmadman is P4. Darren Banks from United Kingdom is P3. Zondarmadman in Lavant is P3. Paul Field is fourth. Zondarmadman in Matchwick is P3, 0.5 behind Darren Banks. Zondarmadman passed Darren Banks for P2. Darren Banks in St. Mary's is third, 0.5 behind Zondarmadman. Darren Banks is now P2. Paul Field in Lavant is P3, 0.2 behind Darren Banks. Darren Banks in Woodcote is P3, 0.1 behind Paul Field. Andy is P6, 0.5 behind Perry Shaw. Darren Banks in Fort Water is third, 0.4 behind Paul Field. Andy is P6, 0.3 behind Perry Shaw. Andy passed Perry Shaw for fifth. Darren Banks in Woodcote is P3, 0.7 behind Paul Field. Paul Field was 2.3 faster last lap. Its mark is P1, 4.1 ahead of Paul Field. It's 20 minutes remaining in the session. It's Darren Banks in Lavant is third, 1.1 behind Paul Field. It's Andy in Woodcote is P5, 4.7 behind Zondermann. Its Duke, Lan, is 7th. Its mark in Lavant Straight is first, 3.2 ahead of Paul Field. Its Perry Shaw in Woodcote is 6th. Its Andy in Ford Water is P5. Its Zondermann from Italy in Lavant Straight is P4, 2.4 behind Darren Banks. Its Andy is 5th. It's Darren Banks is P3, 1.6 behind Paul Field. It's Andy in Lavant Straight is P5. It's 15 minutes remaining in the session. It's Perry Shaw in Lavant Straight is 6th. It's Duke Nan in Chicane is P7. It's Paul Field is second, 2.1 ahead of Darren Banks. It's Darren Banks on lap 9 is third, 1.8 behind Paul Field. It's Zondermadman in Lavant is fourth. Best lap is a 1:21.849. 0.775 off the fastest lap. It's Andy in Chicane is 5th, 4.3 behind Zondermadman. It's Paul Field in St. Mary's is P2, 1.6 behind Mark. It's Darren Banks in Lavant Straight is P3, 3.8 behind Paul Field. It's Darren Banks lost third to Zondermadman. It's Darren Banks lost P4 to Andy. It's Paul Field in Matric is second, 1.4 behind Mark. It's Darren Banks entering the pits is P5. It's Duke Lan entering the pits is P7. Darren Banks is 5th. It's Paul Field from United Kingdom in St. Mary's is 2nd, 1.3 behind Mark. It's Darren Banks from United Kingdom is P5. It's Darren Banks exiting pits. It's Darren Banks lost 5th to Perry Shaw. It's 10 minutes remaining in the session. It's Paul Field is 2nd, 0.8 behind Mark. It's Andy is P4. It's Perry Shaw in St. Mary's is P5. It's Paul Field is P2, 0.5 behind Mark. It's Perry Shaw is 5th. It's Paul Field in Lavant is 2nd, 0.5 behind Mark. It's Andy in Lavant Straight is P4. It's Zondarmadman in Chicane is P3, 2.9 ahead of Andy. It's Zondarmadman lost 3rd to Andy. It's Paul Field in Fort Water is 2nd, 0.5 behind Mark. It's Zondarmadman in St. Mary's is P4, 1.0 behind Andy. It's Paul Field in Woodcote is 2nd. Its Zondermatman is P4, 1.2 behind Andy. Its Paul Field in St. Mary's is second, 0.4 behind Mark. It's 5 minutes remaining in the session. Its Zondermatman is P4, 0.4 behind Andy. Its Paul Field is P2, 0.3 behind Mark. Its Zondermatman in Lavant Straight is 4, 0.3 behind Andy. Its Paul Field is P2. Best lap is a 1:21.074. Its Zondermatman in St. Mary's is 4th. Best lap is a 1:21.259. 0.185 off the fastest lap. Its Perry Shaw in Lavant is P5. Its Zondermatman is P4, 0.4 behind Andy. Its Andy is third, 0.3 ahead of Zondermatman. Its Zondermatman from Italy is P4, 0.3 behind Andy. Its Paul Field is second, 0.5 behind Mark. Its Zondermatman on lap 17 is 4th, 0.4 behind Andy. Its Paul Field is P2, 0.4 behind Mark. Its Zondermatman in Fort Water is P4, 0.2 behind Andy. Its Paul Field in Lavant Straight is P2, 0.3 behind Mark. Paul Field was 2.1 faster last lap. It's Zondermann in Lavant is fourth, 0.4 behind Andy. It's Paul Field is P2, 0.4 behind Mark. It's Zondermann in Matchwick is P4. It's the leader has just finished the race. Mark finished P1. It's Paul Field finished second. It's Andy finished P3. It's Zondermann finished fourth. It's Darren Banks finished fifth.